All right. I think that is recording.
Yep, it's live.
All right. Hello, Alex.
Hey.
It occurs to me that you should not ask the client how have you been since the last time, because it leaves them open to direct the counseling session a little more. So instead, I will say I hope you've been well.
Thank you.
Um, have you had any progress on the uh, homework kind of things that we've worked on? Have you had any advances on the internship search or the interactions with roommates?
I got a job interview.
Oh, good.
Yep. It is at an agency here in town working with children. I have the interview on Thursday, so in 2 days. My professor helped me get the interview, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get out of bed and actually go to it.
Good. That's great. Yeah, I would love to help you be motivated to get to that. That's awesome. Um, but I did have an activity planned for today, if you'd like to give it a try.
Okay.
So it's called the Empty Chair Dialogue by a lot of people. Basically, we pick some issue or some person or some trouble you're having, something you're having trouble disconnecting from, and you sit across from an empty chair. We don't have to actually have an empty chair set up, but you can just talk to the person. They're not present. I won't judge you for anything you say about them. I won't give you a hard time about it. But you just talk to the person and say how you really feel about the issues that are giving you trouble about them. So it can be an internal thing. It can be a person that you're having external conflict right now, one of your roommates maybe. It could be a person who's not around anymore, and that's giving you trouble. Like, did we ever define the name of your ex-boyfriend?
No, I don't think we picked a name for him.
Could be that guy.
All
Could be
right.
anyone that you feel
Let's
is
pick
influencing
Nathan.
your
Nathan? Jonathan? Nathan.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
So Nathan,
you want me to pick the problem that I've been having, or you want to pick the problem?
I feel like Nathan's really affecting you a lot.
All right.
This long-term relationship was kind of a catalyzing event that really started the downward spiral. So I'd like to start off by addressing that if possible.
Okay. Pause for a second. Did I break up with him, or did he break up with me?
It was mutual.
Oh, okay. Okay. Back on.
Okay. And so you can imagine an empty chair sitting in front of you, and he's sitting in it, and you want to talk to him, but he can't talk back.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to picture him sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
which instantly brings some emotions, and because I haven't seen him so we broke up. We were in a relationship for over 2 years, and we broke up about 6 months ago, or recently. We broke up recently, and I haven't seen him ever since the breakup. So just
Have
like,
you talked to him at all?
not really.
Okay.
A little bit, but nothing about the breakup. Just how was your day? Fine. How was your day? Fine. Nothing that's been too in depth. So even just like first picturing him in the chair brings some emotion up. Because I wonder what it would be like to actually see him in sitting next to me. And would I be as calm, or would I be angry? Would I be sad? So just instantly picturing him and knowing what he's probably wearing is bringing up certain emotions. So my job is to describe or talk to him about how I'm feeling about the breakup and how I felt about the breakup and how I'm feeling now. Is that my job?
Pretty much. it's really to address any lingering concerns, any lasting issues that you have. Is there anything you really feel upset about the breakup in general? Is
Yeah.
there anything about him that's still bugging you? Is there anything that he's still causing you trouble by doing?
I think I'm just upset because I'm not with someone else. And I feel like I don't know if he's with someone else. Which is kind of a weird thought in my head because we were together for so long, and while we were together there was never ever cheating or nothing like that. So that thought never really crossed my mind until we broke up. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, like I'm at my apartment with my roommate who I don't really get along with, and he could be out having fun, seeing other people. And to me, that's a really hard thought to think about. But when it's just like confusing because when you break up, that's kind of what it's like, right? You can see other people, but it's just confusing. And if I have any lingering feelings or concerns, it would just be kind of why now, because it was mutual, but it was more. I don't think it was a breakup's ever really mutual. I think one person kind of talks about it first, then the other person will go along with it. So he was the one that brought it up first. And some lingering questions I have was, when did he first start thinking about it? Because if he's bringing it up now, it must have been something that he's thought about before, not just something that he thought of right away. So that would be a question of like how and like specific details, like were we in the car together and you were thinking about it, or were we at dinner and you were thinking about it? When were the specific moments that you were thinking about breaking up? Then when you did bring it up, I was okay with it because I knew our relationship wasn't where it should have been for as long as we were dating. But the thought of breaking up never really crossed my mind until you mentioned it. So I would just ask, when did you have those first initial thoughts? And did you talk to anyone about it? Did you tell your mom? I was very close with, kind of going on a side note, with his family. So did he tell his family about it before he talked to me about it? Did he tell his best friend about it before you talked to me about it? Or was I the first person that you expressed these concerns to?
Now, I'd like to interrupt for just a moment and point out something you said.
Yeah.
You said while the relationship wasn't really where you wanted to be, it wasn't really in a place that you wanted to be after that amount of time, it never occurred to you to think about breaking up. Why is that, do you think?
I think I was comfortable. Pardon me?
Let's go back and look at that.
Okay. Okay.
It sounds like when you say you knew that the one place that it should have been at that point in time, it sounds like you were disappointed with where the relationship was at. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, that does sound accurate.
And yet you didn't have any. It didn't ever occur to you to end it, to try to find something better.
No, because it wasn't like we ever fought. It was pretty comfortable. It was easy. And then now it took me being away from the relationship to realize all the stuff that I was missing. Because when I was in it, I didn't really think about it, and it was just easy and it was comfortable. But now looking from an outsider's perspective, it was pretty boring. We didn't really make plans for the future. It was just easy and it was convenient, and we were happy when we were together. We didn't really fight. We didn't really get mad, but we also didn't. I don't know. There was things that were missing, but I didn't really notice them until their relationship ended. So it was just easy. So I never really thought about it because I always thought like relationships end because they fight or because they're mad, but sometimes they just end.
Because you thought you thought that relationships mostly end because of some sort of conflict.
Yeah.
Whereas really, this one seems like it ended because it didn't have enough confluence. It wasn't about the presence of conflict. It was about the lack of congruence. It was about the lack of confluence is the best word I can think of. The lack of strong positive interaction.
Like excitement. Like it was like, is this it? Now looking back, I think like, thank goodness that ended, because that wasn't like, that could have been my life forever. But thank goodness that it's not. Thank goodness that it happened when it did, because now reflecting back, I definitely see things in a different light, and I see things that maybe I was more invested in than they were. And like I put work in and time into certain things, and I wouldn't think about myself all the time as I would think about them. Like if I was gonna make dinner, I would think what they wanted, not what I wanted. So I was, and the other person wouldn't have thought that way. So I think I was just more invested and just didn't realize that it should definitely be mutual. So taking a step back, I realized a lot of things, and that's helped me not be so angry about it, because I'm at a place where I'm okay with it. The only thing that I'm not okay with is like if I were to see them with someone else. I can grasp that it like is going to happen, but I just don't want to physically see it. But then like he wasn't very good. Like I mentioned before, when my parents were going through a divorce, he wasn't really good with helping me through that or guiding me through that. It was just kind of wasn't really talked about, and I feel like that was a point in my life where I needed someone to be there for me, because they were together when I was at home, but when I moved away from college, they got divorced, and he was never someone that I could go to for support. And now looking back, I want that in the person that I'm with.
So it sounds a lot like my thoughts, and I'll give them to you.
Okay. I'll give you time to think about it.
Give you my thoughts on that. Strong correlation between separation from Nathan and your team. Because it sounds like neither one was really a tear each other's hair out, fight, we can't stand each other breakup. It sounds like both of them were kind of not really comfortable in this situation anymore, not really going where I wanted it to go, gonna separate and come back and try something else. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds accurate. And I know it must not be easy as a counselor either, because it was easier if it was angry and we were punching and we were fighting and it was aggressive. But that's not really, I'm a pretty laid back person in my life. So if that scenario were to happen with anyone, it would be very out of character for me, and it would be very weird if I was to get in a verbal argument or a physical argument with anyone. Picturing myself in that situation makes me laugh, because I don't know what that me would look like. So I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, so it's definitely, I haven't been exposed to much physical anger, but definitely more like sad, more more crying than yelling, I would say.
The second was reacted very to the realization of the relationship not being where you wanted it. That when you had internalized that at some point, but then in internalizing it, you didn't immediately also say, okay, this is not going where I want to go. I'm going to do something about it. The do something about it didn't even occur to you. That the option of either ending it or improving it none of that really happened. It only occurred to him.
Yeah.
He brought it up first. So I'd like to change who's sitting in the seat across from you if we could.
Okay.
So there's two voices in your head. There's the one that says, I am dissatisfied with this. This is not according to my goal. This is not helping me become a better person. And there's the one in your head that says, yeah, but it'd be a lot of trouble to get rid of it. So I want you to pick one of those two voices and put it in the chair. Let's go with the passive voice. Let's put that in the chair. And you're the voice that says, I was not satisfied with that relationship, but for some reason I wouldn't let it go. So the other voice is in that chair, and they're the ones that are telling you it's not really worth the trouble of getting out of this. It'd be a lot of work. I don't really want to. We can put it off another day. We're happy enough, right? So I want you to address them. I want you to address that voice from your own head.
Okay, so you want me to act like I am so done with the relationship. I don't want to waste another minute with this person, let alone 2 years.
You're a very assertive person who's aware of a couple of distinct facts. The first is that you're in a relationship. The second is that relationship is not going where you want it. It's been over 2 years. Your relationship is not progressing as you thought it would. You're aware of that, and you feel motivated to change something about it. The person sitting across from you is not motivated to change anything about it. They're content with staying in it as long as they want.
Okay, well, if I was sitting next to that person and I was really aggressive and not passive, I would say, obviously we've been in a relationship for a long time. It's not moving forward. We're not where we should be at this, where I would want us to be, so I would have to end it. It's not. I keep wanting to go back to being passive. Like, it's not something that makes me happy, but I gotta be aggressive. I am angry. I'm not happy right now. This isn't what I want. We have no plans for the future. It's just kind of living day to day. I don't want to put up with this anymore. It's not that I've been unhappy. It's just that it's not. If this is all that our relationship's ever going to be, it's not enough, and it's not what I want. So this just isn't.
Sorry, I killed my video because the connection was starting to skip some.
Okay. This is just it's not working out for me. There's nothing you can do that can change my mind. It's a decision that I've made, and it's a decision that I feel confident and that I've made the right decision, and I'm sad that I'm hurting you, but at the same time I know that this will both benefit us in the end, and that we're better off with different people. There's a lot more out there that we haven't experienced, and I don't think we're the right people to experience that together with. I still want to talk with you, and I want to be your friend, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Not anymore. We were together for over 2 years, and it wasn't working out. I lost feelings for you. I lost the connection and the spark that we once had. I realized that I really enjoy being around you, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. It's two very different feelings, and I'm feeling very strongly that I don't want to be in a relationship, and this is something that I've thought about, and now I'm putting into action, and I'm sorry.
Okay. Now switch chairs.
What?
You're the passive person. We know what the assertive person says. We know what the assertive person wants. We know what their goals are. They're very specific. They are find a meaningful long-term relationship, get into an internship, so because it's a stepping stone on my career path. But the passive person, we want to explore that more. That's the one we really want to confront more. So, what does the passive part of you say about staying in a relationship with Nathan? About looking for your internship? What are the negative parts about looking for that internship?
All right. The passive part of me says that it's not worth the conflict. It's not worth the fighting. Nothing's wrong, so why try and fix it? I would rather just stay it how it is because I don't want to put the energy, and I just don't really want to have feelings of maybe failure within my relationship and within the internship as well. It took a lot for me to be able to get the interview on Thursday. But normally I would say I want to avoid conflict. I don't like conflict. If I can avoid it, I definitely will. Whether that be with in the relationship, I guess we could keep trying, or we could start trying. Even though my mind is pretty made up, but I'm okay with still being in a relationship, and I'm okay still trying. And yeah, so that would be the more passive me.
Okay. Hmm. So let's specifically look at the passive you that was in the relationship. Let's talk to that person at that time. At that time, you're in your relationship, but it was a relationship you're dissatisfied with on some level, and you were very passive about it. Let's hear about that.
Okay. I think I just would settle for something that maybe I shouldn't have. And if we go back to the activity at the beginning, if the person was sitting in the chair next to me, and maybe this was passive, but also this is maybe just me being lazy and me not thinking about the future enough. This was me just being content and being okay with that. This wasn't me thriving. This was me just wanting to please and not being the one getting pleased. Um, yeah, so I would tell. Sorry, what are we doing again? Would I talking to the passive me or being the passive me?
Either one.
Okay. Well, if I was talking to the passive me, I would say you need to think about the future. Um, if I was sitting across from me and giving myself advice, I would say that Alex, you need to think about the future. You are still in university, or you're a senior in university, you're young, you have some roommates who you're having conflicts with, but overall you have friends, and your boyfriend isn't your only friend. So it's better to end things now, while you're still on good terms, and don't make it so it takes a fight or it takes some sort of conflict to have that breakup happen. Um, Stop being so passive and make it happen, even though if it's uncomfortable. And I know that you don't like conflict, but it'll be okay in the end. And it's not going to be easy. The first few months are probably going to be really hard, and you're going to think about that person, and you're probably going to question yourself. But just know that there's people who care for you, and there's people who you'll be in another relationship with, and that's not the only person out there. And maybe it will take a few years of being apart before realizing maybe what you had was the real thing, but you're still so young that it's okay to mess up, and it's okay to break up with people. It's okay to be in a relationship with people. That is just, it's fine to let people know how you're feeling, and it's fine to start conflict and resolve it. That's what I would tell passive me.
Okay. Now, what would passive me say back to you?
Hmm. Passive me, that's a good question. Passive me would say, I know, but nothing's really wrong, so I don't know how I could do that because there's nothing that Nathan did. Um, it's just I'm not feeling it as much as I was at the beginning, but I can work through it. Like that's not his fault, that's my fault. That's something that I need to work through. There's nothing really more that he could be doing. I don't want to change him. Passive me would be saying, I've already put so much time into this relationship. I don't want to feel like it was all for nothing if I've been in it for so long. Um, and right now I'm in a place where I'm just like, I'm comfortable, I'm okay. But maybe if I break up with them, I would be in a place where I would be sad and I wouldn't be as comfortable. And maybe I would even be worse. So passive me would say, am I just setting myself up for failure? And I would question myself a lot. Um, I would know what I should do, but I don't know if I would necessarily do it. Um, I think that's maybe why that's why it took Nathan to bring it up, because I feel like I'm very passive and I don't know if I ever would have. Um, So by him bringing it up was really positive for me, I guess, because I didn't have to, even though I wasn't really thinking about it. But now looking back, there definitely were things to work on. So that's what passive me would say to me.
So earlier you said, sorry,
It's okay.
I'm getting a lot of feedback from your end.
How are you?
Yeah. I can hear myself talking on your end very clearly. Nope, not anymore.
Okay, good.
Okay. So early on in the session, I just lost it.
Can you still?
No, I got it. Yes, I can still see you.
Okay.
Okay, so early on in the session, you said that one of you was thinking about it more than the other, that it really took Nathan bringing it up, that Nathan brought it up. And you sounded angry at that point that Nathan had, that it was his decision to bring that up. You sounded upset about that. But just now, you sounded upset at your passive self because they were sitting there just because you weren't necessarily in pain at the moment, that they were content to stay there, even though just because he hadn't done anything yet to really cause you to want to break up with him. But he hadn't really done anything to make you want to stay with him either.
Mm-hmm.
So were you upset with Nathan or were you upset with yourself?
I think it was a little of both, and I think the initial reaction was I was upset with him because I was more invested than he was the one bringing it up. So it was kind of like, I don't feel I did anything. So then him bringing it up was it was a shock to me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel like I'm more angry at myself because I shouldn't have been, I feel like I can be in a better relationship than the one that I was in. But I didn't realize it at the time. So when he first brought it up, I was more angry at him because I thought, how could he? Like, I did so much for him. But now
Mm-hmm.
looking back, I'm mad at myself for allowing myself to do that, and not get it in return. So yeah, it definitely went in transition and went in phases. And I'm sure his side, he would have a whole new point of view, his point of view. But because we haven't talked very much, I don't know what that is, and I don't know if it would be helpful for me to know. But I'm happy since our first session. I've definitely come a ways, but I'm moving on. I feel like it does something that weighs heavy on me, and I still think about it a lot. But it's not something that I don't cry about it anymore. I can go out and I'm not thinking about him. I'm thinking about other people and other relationships and past relationships, because he's not the first relationship that I've been in. He was my longest relationship, but it wasn't the only one that I've been in. So right after we broke up, I was mostly thinking about him and how could he do this? And then I was more, well, how could I let him do this? And that was kind of what I was wrestling with. But now I feel like I'm in a place where it's like, it happened and it happened for a reason. And it's not our time right now. So I just need to move on. And if the opportunity presents itself to see somebody else, and I'm good with that idea, but I'm not good with him moving on yet. Because there was no incident, there was nothing that happened. So that's still a thought that affects me, I think. And especially just seeing my parents, how like they got divorced and it was out of nowhere and it was a shock to me, like I didn't see it coming. This may scare me from future relationships, because if I didn't think there was nothing wrong with my current relationship, and if my parents, I didn't think there was nothing wrong, this leads me to think maybe I'm just a poor judgment of what a good relationship is. So this brings up concern for my potential future relationships, because what if I think everything's fine and it's good, but then like maybe I just have poor judgment. So I think I'll definitely be more aware of what's going on, and I'll be more aware of what I want, and kind of more selfish. I feel like in my other relationships, I would always give people the benefit of the doubt, and I was always selfless. But the next relationship that I get in, I'm going to try and be more selfish and more knowing what I want. If that's not what I want, then I'm not going to go out with them again.
Hmm. Okay. So that seems pretty hashed out. So I'd like to take a break from talking about Nathan, if we could,
Yeah.
and focus on your passive self in other areas of your life.
Okay.
So it seems like your passive self has really been taking a lot of control recently. Your passive self is the self that likes to sleep. Your passive self is the self that likes to just avoid your roommates instead of confronting them and figuring out what's wrong. So let's talk about your roommates. And let's have your passive self, your passive self, talking to one of your roommates about an issue.
Okay. So my passive self talking about an issue to my roommates it wouldn't be the exact problem that I'm having. So for example, I'm a really clean person and I like the dishes to be done, but it's hard for me to understand that some people don't. And when we first started living together, they would always clean the dishes and they would always be clean in general, but now that we've been living together for so long, I feel like it's gotten really comfortable and they stopped doing that. So that's kind of the issue, one of the issues. But if I was to talk to them about it, I would kind of go a roundabout way. I would probably say something like, I know we've been living together for quite a while, but I would still like it if we could all make an effort to clean up. And I would include myself. My passive self would say, and I could do a better job at this too. This isn't something that is just you guys. This is something that I need to work on too. If that's possible, but if it's not, then that's okay too. That it's not a big issue. It's not something that that's been affecting me. And I think I would kind of lie, and I would tell them that it's not something that is affecting me when it really is affecting me. Because I don't like that conflict, and especially if I live with them. And that's just one small thing. I remember a few sessions ago, I told you how they would always borrow my clothes, and I would borrow theirs too. But the last few times, I think I said that they were borrowing clothes, but they never returned them. I think that's what I said. And if I was addressing that issue, I would phrase it in a way of, I haven't seen, say they borrowed a sweater. I haven't seen this sweater. Have you guys seen it? I'm wanting to wear it tomorrow. And if they were to say, no, I haven't seen it. No, I don't know what sweater you're talking about. I would just say, oh, okay. Can you keep your eye out for it? Instead of saying, like, I know you took it, please return it. I would be really passive in the way of, I would honestly probably avoid it altogether, but if I had to confront it, I would put it in a way of, have you seen it? Instead of, I know you took it. So that's kind of the passive me. I would sleep a lot. I wouldn't really talk to them too much. I would feel more comfortable texting them, but I know it's something that if I texted them during the day, it would be awkward because I would see them at nighttime anyways. So that's the passive me. I wouldn't really directly handle it. I would try and go about a different way to handle it.
Okay. So now we've heard from the passive you about the issue. Let's hear from the assertive you, from the commanding you.
Okay.
So we've heard your passive version we've heard the I don't really want a side. Now let's hear the I side.
All right, this is a pretty hard mind frame to get in. I feel like I'm not super passive, but I'm not aggressive at all. I'm more on the passive side than the aggressive side, so I'll try and be as aggressive as I can. Well, when they would first walk in the door, I would tell them that there's dishes in the sink. Are these yours? And if they said no, I would say, I saw you use the dishes at breakfast. You need to do your dishes. We all agreed when we first moved in that we would all clean up and do our dishes, our own dishes. But recently, there's been always dishes in the sink, and I feel like I've been doing them all the time, even though they're not mine because I don't like the mess. You guys need to start doing your own dishes because this is really affecting me, and I don't appreciate the house always being dirty, and every time I come home or if I ever want to have my soccer and running friends over, the kitchen is just a mess, and I spend more time cleaning up the kitchen than I do my own homework. So you guys need to pay more attention and clean up the kitchen. And then if I was dealing with the other situation with the clothes and that my sweater was gone and I knew that they took it, they would walk in the house and I would tell them, hey, I realized one of you guys took my sweaters on such and such day. I really need it back. I want to wear it tomorrow. I know one of you guys took it. I overheard you guys talking about it and you were laughing. I would really appreciate my sweater back. That would be the past or the aggressive me. And I would be yelling it.
Okay. So find a balance between those two that's more towards the aggressive side than the passive side. Because the passive side is the side that doesn't get anything done, and that's not helping you much. The aggressive side, while yelling at them might be a little on the too much side, the aggressive side is the one that does get things done. So let's see if we can kind of find a balance there.
Okay. You were kind of breaking up. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
So, okay, can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we heard from your passive side. Your passive side is the one that isn't getting anything done. That's the one that doesn't want to go do anything. That one's been doing a lot. It's probably contributed a lot to your issues with your roommates in general. And we heard from your assertive side. And your assertive side wanted to scream at your roommates. That's probably a bit much. So let's try to assess a balance between those two. Let's try to find a balance point that's more towards the aggressive side than the passive side instead of the other way around, without going full-on rage beast at your roommates.
All right.
Because it's the balance of those two personality types that lets us act in the world.
Okay. Okay, so a balance of them both. So if my roommates were to walk in, I would, and this is again with the scenario that I'm having difficulties and it's stressing out that they're not doing the dishes. They would come in and I would just tell them, hey, I noticed that we've been slacking on the dishes recently. Can we make it a priority to clean the dishes right after we use them? I'm wanting to have my running and my soccer friends over, and I don't want having to do the dishes before they come over. I've been really bad at doing mine too, but if we could all just make an extra effort, that would be really helpful. I know I'm kind of weird about that stuff, but it really would help me if we could all do a better job at washing our dishes. It may be something really small to you, but to me, like I think about it throughout my day and it does kind of stress me out. Then with them stealing my sweater, that's kind of more of a tricky one because they stole it from me and I heard them talk about it, I think I said. So I would approach that if they were to come in. I would say, hey, I'm really wanting to wear my sweater tomorrow or on Thursday. I have a job interview. I know that one of you guys borrowed it, and I heard you guys talking about it, and I know that you guys have it. Could you please find it and get it back to me by Thursday so I can wear it to this interview? This interview is a big deal for me. I've been looking for an internship for a long time now, and it really would mean a lot if I could wear that sweater to that internship and internship interview. And I'm totally okay with you guys borrowing my clothes and using my clothes because I like to borrow your clothes too. But it's important that we return them back to each other in case I do want to wear them. And I can make a better effort at getting your guys' clothes back to you in a more timely fashion. But yeah, please can one of you return the sweater? I really want to wear it to my interview.
Okay, good. Well done. Okay, so let me look at my handout here. So that's very good. That's very positive. We've made a lot of solid progress today. Anything else you want to address while we're using this kind of form of address? Is there anything specific you'd like to look at?
Well, I do feel kind of relieved talking about my relationship. It's something that I think about a lot, but I'm not sure if I feel like I've kind of come to terms with what happened. But it does just feel good talking about it. And with my roommates, I think that was very helpful to see all the different sides of myself and all the different me's in the chair and which one will be the most helpful. But something else that's kind of been bothering me is not bothering me, but I'm really nervous for this interview on Thursday. Um, it's something that I really, really want, and I want to be positive about it, but I've almost been preparing myself for the worst. Um, and I don't know if that helps for the interview. I really want to get it, but if I put all my hopes into getting this interview in this job, and if I don't get it, then I feel like it will be very, very stressful, and I will feel very, very down and sad. And it could potentially put me back. So I'm just been really stressed out and worried about this interview on Thursday, and I just can't wait to get it over with. Well, they're over with. It's kind of like when I have to do a presentation in class. I dread it, and I don't want to do it. And just like this interview, I want to do it, but I'm scared to, and I'm nervous to. But after it's over, I normally, just like a presentation or a speech, I feel better. I feel relieved. Um, I think in my head, thank goodness that's over. But at least with a speech and a presentation, it's over, and then I just have to wait to be graded. Um, and that if when that grade comes back, it can either be positive or negative. But it's not as big a deal as interview. I feel like I'm weighing a lot of options on this interview. This interview is potentially me making money, which could lead to me moving out if things don't go well with my roommates. So there's a lot weighing on this interview, and that's kind of been my main thought and my main focus this past week. Um, so yeah, that's kind of been something that I've been thinking about a lot.
Okay. I would encourage you to do as much as you can to prepare for the interview. It sounds like that's a lot. That's a big source of stress for you right now, and that would be about all I've got for you on that.
Thank you.
That's the best you can do is prepare for it and be sure to keep your assertive half going on it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, of course, we have another session on Thursday. It'll be after that, so you'll be able to tell me how the interview went.
Yeah. When's our last session?
Thursday.
Okay, so next week is our last session.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And that should be, looking at my Google Hangout start time, it said we started at 5:38, so
Yeah, we're
that
good.
should be our session. So thank you very much. I will see you on Thursday.
Thank you.